my pants. Don't you know I got a little secret? It's the ace of hearts up my sleeve. And when I get home to my honey, she give me love like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. When I'm walking through my neighborhood, everybody knows I'm feeling good. See me smiling from my head to my feet. They say, ain't that Mr. Lucky coming down the street? Hey, that's me. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss my lips, when you touch me with your fingertips. I'm Mr. Lucky when you hold me tight. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss good night. Baby, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. You know that's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Yeah, you know, Facebook, they're supposed to be helping. They're not helping. They're never helping. Ever. I don't even know why I post to Facebook anymore. Well, there's one very good reason today, but otherwise, there's no reason. Because they're supposed to be helping, but they're not helping. They're never, ever, ever helping. Always remember about Facebook, they're not helping. They are not in anything that you dare not helping. Anyway. Hey, Sook's here. Sook says morning time. Hugh is here. Says, hey, Mr. Lucky, how you doing? The Wolf's here, says, good morning. Where do you live? In Dallas, Texas. Fishman is here, says, good morning, Tom. Good morning. It's not morning here, but let's see. The Wolf says it's early evening here. Sook says, I'm from the future, Australia. And Wild Bill's here, says good evening. Well, that's great. Hope you guys all had a happy new year. I was going to do a show yesterday, and I just said forget it. There's a whole bunch of schools of thought. It's like, well, nobody else is probably doing a show, so it's a perfect time to do a show because everybody will watch your show because there aren't any other shows. And then you think, well, there's probably nobody doing shows because nobody's around to watch shows, so why should I do a show when nobody else is doing a show and then nobody watches that? You know what I'm saying. Hey, I got some big news here. It's pretty big news. It's old news, but it's new news again. And that is we are once again on Sonic Asylum Radio. Yes, every day we'll be on the old Sonic Asylum Radio Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. And we are happy to be there. The people at Sonic Asylum, out of all the networks I've been on, are the only ones that I'm still on. Or would be. So that's awesome news. And we'll be updating you on all the great shows there, like Metal Maiden Vicky's incredible show on the weekend. There's a lot of good stuff there, so we'll get to you. My good friend George and his amazing bass playing and all that stuff. Pegleg Biker says, good morning, sir. Well, good morning to you. And people saying hello to each other and welcome to the asylum. What's Wild Bill saying here? Evening Wolf. Happy New Year, sir. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Even though it's the day after all that crud. So is that all we have? Oh, got another piece of news here. I don't see him in the chat room or nothing. Oh, let's see here. This is Fenrizio Grishnacchio. Mike, new sub. Enjoyed your Bukowski and Gigi Allen stories. Saw you work for Film Threat. Do you have any Mike Williams from I Hate God stories? I do not. I do not. I don't know who Fenrizio Grishnacchio. Who are you if you were in that Discord when I was talking about that stuff? I want your actual name. Because there's one name, if you're that person, I wouldn't get too comfortable. The Wolf says, yes, Happy New Year. I have a photo of the Wolf that I'll show you guys tomorrow wearing one of my T-shirts. It's technically a baseball shirt, but it's quite handsome. He's also wearing a Ball State hat. So he's all decked out. I just didn't get official permission to put his picture up yet. I'm sure he'll give it to me, but do you have any Mike Guido stories? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do have a really good Mike Guido story. So there was this radio station in San Diego. Actually, the station's located in Mexico, but they broadcast their signal into San Diego. And there's a pretty nice guy there that I approached about doing some work for that station or being on that station. I would have even moved to San Diego. And this was at the time when I was deciding whether to move to Los Angeles or back here to Dallas and what was going on. And so the main dude on the air on that station was very nice, and he responded to me, and he forwarded my information on to the gentleman that I'll just call Skeletor that actually owns the station. And Skeletor never got back to me. However, there was a show that was on every night of the week for at least 2 hours. I think it might have been 3 or 4, to be honest with you, overnights, named Mike Guido, who is the most awful sportscaster in the history of sportscasters. And he would say things like, boy, that giant defensive line's really got to start playing better. Thanks for the hot sports take. No good guests ever. Couldn't get a guest to save his life. But he would spare you to death for 4 hours a night. And so they had Mike Guido on, but they did not have me on. So there's my Mike Guido story. And the Wolf, I have tortured him to death with my dislike of Mike Guido. Stupid Mike Guido. Fenrizio Grishnacchio says, my name is Tony, brand new sub, don't know anything about Discord thing you're talking about. Well, I didn't really talk about Charles Bukowski anywhere else, so you're lying. You're on thin ice, Fenrizio. You're on very thin ice. Brand new sub. Whatever. You seem sketchy to me. Rep Wild Bill says, I watched the Tom Gully New Year's Eve show from a few years back. Oh, boy. That's great. End Stage Rory says, why are you blocking people? I've only blocked 1, maybe 2 people. Why are you asking? Here, would you like me to block you? Is that what you're asking for? To my knowledge, I've only blocked 2 people. I unblocked 1,000 people not too long ago. So remove the stick from your posterior. Okay. Why is it any of your business? What investment into this program do you have? How much work or preparation to make this show happen have you done? How much contribution have you done to the show via PayPal, via Patreon, via buying merchandise? Oh, I know, none. Creep. Let's see. The Wolf says you can post my awesome picture with my new Ball State hat and fabulous Tom Gully Show baseball shirt. I'll do that tomorrow. I actually have to convert it into a different file type because that's what StreamYard wants. So, Reverend Wild Bill says, I blocked myself from this show, and look, here I am. Damn Google. I knew a Tony once. He was sketchy. By the way, just on that subject, you can visit thetomgullyshow.com for more podcasts and the merch store, which you can also get to at cafepress.com/thetomgullyshow. You can contribute at paypal.me/TomGullyShow or patreon.com/thetomgullyshow. And I will mention that somebody over the holiday, we had another very nice donation to our PayPal account. And then another one from another family member, which I appreciate those in some ways more than the regular ones, but also in some ways I'm like, it's a family member. It's kind of a layup. Fenrizio Grishnacchio says, it was a live on YouTube. You did. That is the only show I watched. Okay. Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever, man. Whatever. You know, whatever. The Wolf says, Happy New Year, Tony. Where did Tony go? Well, he must have taken himself out. Oh, that's a shame. Now he'll claim that, that I blocked him when I, of course, did nothing of the kind. Oh, this is a guy that might need to be blocked. It says, hi, heard you were coming after me. Okay, those of you, here's End Stage Rory. There we go. That was it, End Stage Rory. Not blocking people. But this could be a person that needs to be blocked. Has anybody in this entire chat right now ever heard me mention Dabble Storian one time ever on this program? Nope. Never did. I know how desperately you need attention and how much you want everything to be about you and how stupid you are because you could have emailed me that question. My email's very findable for a bottom feeder like yourself. Okay? So my advice to you is to be gone. You're not wanted here. Nothing about what you do will be appreciated here. Never said I was coming after you. If I was, I wouldn't announce it in advance anyway. I want nothing to do with you. You're not worth my time. So that's the only sort of warning you'll get. If you'd like to be banned, keep up your nonsense. Let me see here. Reverend Wild Bill says, Tom, did you get my 50-cent PayPal donation? I did, Reverend Wild Bill. I did get your donation. It was not 50 cents, but it was very appreciative. Anthony Schultz, who's been here before, says, hey, I'm Tony. Nice to see you. Let's see here. Fenrizio Grishing, thanks. Unsubbing now. This is a weird way to treat new subs. Okay. Well, don't let the door hit you where it splits you. You know what I'm saying? You will not be missed. Bye. Reverend Wild Bill says, nope. Not the one you're talking about. No, Anthony, you're not. You're a fine man. You're in high regard with many people. Suk says, well, there was that one time that we're not supposed to mention. That's funny. Let's see here. Hughes says Dabble Storian is Vince the lawyer. I don't know that to be true, but Vince, of course, is not, going to be posting here. So, Reverend Bill, first time I've heard his name, Dabble Storian. Nope. Come on now, Tony. Tony says, I came in late. What's going on? Nothing. Dabble Storian says, good times. I love the attention. Well, I guess you can love it that way. I gave you a shot, but you didn't want one. Wait a minute. I came in late. What's going on? Don't let the weirdos get to you. Kim says, I've shed a tear for Tony. I've shed a tear for Tony. What happened there? I think, man, this crazy StreamYard sometimes is not fun because it all of a sudden pops things up. The comments just pop up rather than being there when you want them to be there. So. Hi, welcome to Tom Gully's show. You're on the air.
Hi, how are you doing, Tom Gully? I'm a big fan.
Okay, fake voice. That means I hang up on you. No, it's fake voice. That means I hang up on you and block your number. So, sorry. Bye. 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 Sorry. I'm sorry that you chose to call in with fake voice. You know, I'm not necessarily totally against shtick, but it better be good shtick. You know what I mean? You gotta have a good shtick. If you don't have a good shtick, I don't got time for you. So, well, we're having an eventful beginning. I was just going to tell you about Judge Crater. You know, I figured most of you wouldn't know about Judge Crater. It's a great story. We'll get it there in a minute, but yeah, you know, it's just the ongoing thing that you go through when you have a show, and that is that there are a bunch of people who, you know, couldn't generate content if their life depended on it, that want to glom on to the work and effort of those people who are creating content. And so it's just kind of, you know, cost of doing business. But you really don't have to put up with them. I know the funny part is there's trolls out there that'll go, well, you should never block anyone. Well, of course you're going to say that. You're a troll. Well, of course that's going to be your opinion. For the love of Mike. Why wouldn't it be your opinion? Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. How you doing?
Hey, Tom.
How's it? Hey, this sounds like a fake voice.
This is me. Is that you?
It sounds like a fake voice to me. How you
Yeah,
doing?
what the hell are you going to do about it?
Nothing. Nothing, man.
I can't even. I tell you what, that looks do that hoodoo stuff.
Yeah, but I noticed that you made a contribution on PayPal.
Oh, no, I was just joking about that. I just want to make sure that it actually went through. That's all.
It did.
I've been having some problems. I tried earlier about even subscribing and found out that, well, you know, when Norton does their auto renew thing,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, I see what you mean.
At that time, the funds was kind of low, and what it was is I didn't know about it, but they put a security hold on my card.
Bastards.
Well, no, not really. I mean, I got a good bank. They do watch me on scams and stuff, so, you know.
Oh.
But, you know, it's just when Norton was wanting to take out over $100-something and it's an automatic, you know, thing.
Yeah.
They just, plus also, too, it wasn't in the bank, so they couldn't take it. And
well, I did get your very kind donation, and
well, no problem. I finally got it worked out, and I thought it worked. I know that the Patreon went through, so I knew it was working. But PayPal was also giving me, and what I had to do was go in and reinstall the card, even though it was the same number and everything. That particular one, I guess PayPal had put a hold on.
PayPal jacked with me recently. I have a PayPal business card. And it came up for, you know, it was ending the life of the card. And so I called them and said, hey, where's my new card? And they said, oh, don't worry, it is on the way. And it's still not here yet. So,
Of course.
Whatever.
But
But
at
hey,
least
man.
there is one nice thing about PayPal. They do have a pretty good guarantee. So I'm
They
happy
do.
on that one.
They do.
You know, that one. And believe it or not, let's see, who is it? No, on eBay I use PayPal. That's right.
Yeah.
Amazon's got a good guarantee, and so does PayPal. So If I can't use PayPal on something, I don't use it.
There
I
you
don't
go.
even get it. Been scammed too many times.
It's,
But anyway, main thing was, Mr. Tom, I just want to jump on and wish you and all the chatters out there in Chatland, and Mr. Wolf and all them, that and the ones I know but I don't know, you know what I mean. But,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But anyway, in that world of, and what the hell is this Dabbleverse? But anyway.
I'll explain it to you later. It's
No, please don't. I don't even really care, to be honest.
Okay. Well,
that's just more names I've got to know. But anyway, I just want to jump on, so I'll let you get back, because I know you might have some stories to tell or something like that.
Okay.
And
all right,
plus,
man.
also give all these other people that's wanting to call in so bad, give them a chance to get in there.
Yeah.
Because you know me, if you know me, hell, I won't let you get a word in edgewise if I can help it. We've had our conversations before, even off the air. So, anyways, on that note, and this time I am leaving. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. You take it easy, Wild Bill. Oh man, I love talking to Wild Bill. He's he's quite a guy. All right, let's see what we got here. Doom says the Lance News Network is reporting on this broadcast. I am flattered and confused. I do not know what the Lance News Network is, but I encourage them to report on whatever they want to, because I'm in the news business, don't you know? JC is here. He says, hey, Tom, happy to be here. I'm also happy to be here. I love my job. Suk says, no mercy. Andrew Schultz says, as I hear you read these, I just want to make it clear I'm not messing with you. I didn't mean to sound rude. No, you didn't. No, you're good. Anthony, you're fine. You're a wonderful lad. The Wolf says, I think Tony would feel better after taking a Pervitin. Yes, you got to. I don't know that the Germans are selling Pervitin over the counter anymore. I think we sold it or something similar here in the States, even into the 50s. But the legendary David Chandler, if indeed this is David Chandler, I have no reason to believe it's not, said, I'll send you some money. Well, you sound like David Chandler, because David Chandler is the Andrew Carnegie of the Dabbleverse and internet content in general. So even if you're not David Chandler and you're messing with me, I'm throwing a plug out for David Chandler, who supports a ton of great content, which of course would make people wonder why he would give money to this show. The Kahuna says, hey, Tom, skipped my chat early on, but I received my clock and hoodie over the weekend. Great quality Gildan hoodie. Love it, brother. I think do I have a hoodie here? I don't even know what I have. I do have a mug. I should probably use it here. Today, a young lady that I know, young lady that I know and used to work with, sent me, I'll try and show it to you on camera. Doggone it, I meant to send this. She sent me a photo of she got one of the 20-ounce Tom Gully Show coffee mugs, and she now uses it for her soda. You see that spoon can barely escape it, but she sent me that today with a Happy New Year greeting. Thank you so much, Ariana. Appreciate that. She's not watching. She's Gen Z. She's not going to watch this boomer fest. The Doom guy says, do. Is that anything like do, da? That's all I want to, Anthony says, bored jerks. Those guys are real jerks that like to ruin things. David Chandler says, you're very good. Well, I don't know about that, but, and I don't know that you're David Chandler, but I don't know that you're not. I have no way of knowing. Raining real hard here right now. Suk says the only content I create gets flushed down the toilet every morning. Anthony Schultz says David Chandler is correct. Let's see here. Big Ed dominates small fat DG said, why'd you block Dabblestorian? Because Dabblestorian's trying to do what he tries to do on all the shows, which is make it about him. And it's not going to be. And he can go somewhere else. That's why. But thank you for asking. it's doing the troll 101. Come in, act like you've been slighted or offended or somebody's done something to you which never ever happened, and then, make a big fuss. You know what? If you're so awesome, go start your own program. Why don't you do that? The Wolf says, PayPal is my pal. There you go. Julian Caesar said, I was called Pervitine when I was younger. If you look at Pervitine, you might agree with that. You might not agree with that. I don't know. Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
What's up, nigga? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. That's a fake voice, isn't it? Yeah, that's a fake voice. You gotta really have a much better fake voice than that to be on this. Like I said, I'm not adverse to shtick. It's got to be good shtick. And even while I say that someone should go off and do their own program, I do realize that most of these dudes don't have the talent or skill to do that. So, Terry Nee says, best mug on the air. Terry, I'm glad you said that, because Terry Nee sent me a photo of the Tom Gully Show clock that he recently received. I'm going to go ahead and answer this. We'll get back to the clock here in a second. Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
Hello?
Okay, bye. I don't know. A lot of you may not be. I know Wild Bill is, and I know the Wolf probably is, and there may be some other people listening, but not necessarily in the chat, that realize when you call into my show, you don't just get to be on the air. There's a bunch of things you cannot do. And hello is one of them. You have to be one of three things: interesting, entertaining, or informative. You don't have to be all three. You just have to be one. And those dudes weren't. But Terry Nee bought one of our lovely clocks. I hope, Terry, that it's working and that it will become a focal point of praise and pleasure that adds a charm and warmth to any room. Let's see here. We got to whip through some of these. Jay-Z, do you come in chocolate flavor? Yes, there was chocolate-flavored Pervitine. Johnny 8 says, Happy New Year, fellow gully heads. Happy New Year to all of you. Let's see here. David, what is this word good you speak of? Says, wow, Bill. Big Ed Dominates Small Fat DG says, Dapple Storian is a talent. You could use some of that, Tom. Really? 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 I haven't noticed any talent there. But why don't you start a show and have him on? Oh, sorry, that being getting off your rear end. That'll never happen. Reverend Wild Bill correctly points out that I am the only stone green host in the history of Not Even a Show. So not just green, but etched in stone. All right. Fishman said Troll Slade. Electric Head Gino says, ha, 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 ha. Lyndon says, Happy New Year, Tom. Beware of trolls, smart man. Anthony Schultz said, that clock is awesome. I think Terry Nee can tell us it's, I think, $13 or something like that, plus shipping. And I will say this. Cafe Press makes their money on the shipping. they'll hit you with the shipping. It's plastic, but it looks really good. And it works. It's a functioning clock. Short, sharp, and shiny, says Sook. That's a fine-looking clock. Thank you, Stacy Allen. Stacy Allen, you're giving me a million reasons to leave the show. You're giving me a million. Anyway. Reverend Bill says you have to be one of three. How did I get in then? I think you're a little of each column. Reverend Wild Bill. Big Ed Dominates. He just says, I do, which means I guess he thinks he's getting married. Nobody can tell what that means. It's not attached to any commentary or anything else. He's just not that bright, I think is the phrase we use. Ain't that bright. They just ain't that bright. Terry Nee says, the Swiss could not make a better clock. Well, thank you. Thank you indeed. I got to do something here because Big Ed Big Ed kind of feels like he doesn't really want to be here. See, I do this as a service to people. And sometimes people don't realize that they don't want to be here. But I can see it. We can all see it. And so sometimes when that happens, you have to help them. You have to save them from themselves is what you have to do. So, sometimes when that happens, you just have to help them. Well, help them along, really, is the best way to put it. And I'm going to apologize in advance. You are going to hear a little show playback here because I have to go to, I would say, a little more trouble. I'm going to apologize in advance. You are going to hear a little show playback. See what I was saying? You just had to hear a little more than maybe you wanted to of the playback of the show. But, let's see here. Big Ed, let me just say it's been nice having you. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and you are now free to go do something that pleases you more than being here. Okay? You're now on your own to go do something productive that will help you more in life. Thank you. David Chandler says content with an asterisk. Yes, that's what this is. More than just this an asterisk. David, I will get to something. Hold on, David. Hi, welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
Nigger breathe.
Oh gosh, wow, that was really scandalous. Jeepers creepers. Well, we'll just block you for that, and then you won't have to bother with that again. Hey, Chandler, says Stacy, and David Chandler said, I thought you did more than just read chats. I'm going to in here in just a second. Do you like Electric Light Orchestra? I'm listening. I'm working on a cover album. Lyndon says, amigos, adios, amigos. Okay, Lyndon, see you. Saying hi to Stacy. What's up, old man? Got him. Is that Greg from San Diego? Because if so, by the way, I don't think that's the real David Chandler. He's being a jerk. Well, I haven't noticed. David Chandler doesn't comment that much. Did you notice I set the clock at 7 p.m.? I did, Terry, although I thought that was the only time the clock actually was ever at. Okay. Okay. Now, not many people remember these days. However, long before Jimmy Hoffa, a famous person disappeared, and that person was never, ever, ever, ever found. And that person was, let me tell you about Judge Crater. So, this guy, Judge Joseph Force Crater, and by the way, I know he disappeared under mysterious circumstances and he's never been found, but the middle name Force is pretty cool. Just got to put that out there. He was kind of a muckety-muck. His dad had a produce market in Pennsylvania, and his dad owned this huge orchard. And so young Joseph was sent to Lafayette College, which is a little bit of a snobby college. But then he went to Columbia University after that. And while he was at Columbia, he became a lawyer and helped a woman get a divorce, which is not uncommon for a lawyer, except for that he married her 7 days later. So he then went into private practice. And for those of you not familiar, there used to be a very, very, very corrupt part of New York politics called Tammany Hall, Boss Tweed, and political corruption. It was just absolutely staggering in New York, okay? He was involved with that, was our good friend Joseph Force Crater, and he organized election officials and elections, and he defended Tammany Hall in cases involving election corruption. So it became very popular with some very highly placed corrupt politicians. Now, it was at this point that the governor of the state of New York, you may recognize his name, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, governor of New York at the time. He named Judge Joseph Crater, now Judge Crater, to the New York Supreme Court. Okay. It was in the summer of 1930 that the judge and his wife, this is only a few months after he had been promoted to the Supreme Court, went to their summer home in Maine. And while they were there, he, according to his wife, got this cryptic phone call telling his wife after the call he's going to immediately return to New York City in order to, quote unquote, straighten those fellows out. He never said what that meant. He's just going to go back there to straighten those fellows out. So, got back to his New York apartment the very next day, but he didn't do any business of any kind. Instead, he went to Atlantic City with Sally Lou Ritz, a showgirl. You know what that means. Now, this will become a trend, by the way. He headed back to Maine, in August, and he stayed a couple of days, but his behavior got even more mysterious. He immediately returned to New York, and he spent a good deal of time going through his legal files and destroyed a ton of documents. And then he had his law clerk, cash some checks. And these checks were written for a lot of money at the time, around what would be in today's dollars, $100,000. Then he asked his law clerk to take these 2 locked briefcases to his apartment. At that point, he bought a ticket to a Broadway show that he'd already seen before. He bought one single ticket by himself. Had dinner with 2 friends. Got into a taxi. They watched him do it after the show. And he was never, ever, ever seen again, was Judge Crater. No. And it was the biggest news story ever, because this guy was a powerful, powerful, powerful dude. And like I said, disappeared into thin air, did this guy. An investigation followed, and it was found that the judge's safe deposit box had been ransacked, completely cleaned out, and that those 2 locked briefcases in his apartment had completely disappeared, gone forever. A grand jury was held, 95 witnesses, 1,000 pages of testimony, and at the end of it, no one could conclusively say whether Judge Crater was dead or just missing or had just taken off on his own. Nothing. Now, Judge Crater had a whole slew of showgirls as mistresses, and they all left town immediately after he disappeared. All of them. Pow! Gone. Okay? Even more weird, his jacket, the jacket he had worn the very night that he disappeared, was found in another woman's apartment. Okay? This lady didn't leave town because she was a high-end lady of the evening. She wasn't a showgirl. She didn't go through all the charade of being a showgirl. She was just a call girl. Well, you know what she was, for money. That's where they found his jacket. And she couldn't say where or how it had gotten there. And then 15 years later, she was in a mental institution. Whatever. Half a year after the disappearance, Judge Crater's wife found checks, stocks, bonds, and a note from Judge Crater in a dresser drawer that had been empty when police performed their search during the investigation. Well, after they found all this stuff, they fired off another huge search for him, but nothing was ever found, and the case was officially closed 49 years later in 1979. A number of theories sprang up around Judge Crater's disappearance. His wife thought he'd been murdered as the result of keeping him quiet politically. Another, and this lady told her story when she was 90-something, and she said her brother, who was an NYPD officer, killed him, and that they buried him at the current site of the New York Aquarium. However, that site had been excavated in 1950, and no records indicated that any skeletal remains were found, and they weren't exactly going to dig up, the whole aquarium just based on this rumor. But for a long time, and not now, nobody ever says this now, but pulling a crater or to pull a crater was a common term to mean disappearing. That if somebody was having problems or they didn't like their job or their wife, they would pull a crater and just leave town and no trace of themselves. So that is the story of the legendary Judge Crater, who disappeared in 1930, got in that cab, was never seen again. There was a couple people that said they saw him walking down the street that evening, but not very verifiable. But he, way before Jimmy Hoffa, was disappearing without a trace before disappearing without a trace was cool. And that is the story of Judge Crater. Can you dig it? Now let's get to these lovely comments in our chat room, shall we? I think we see here. Did all the trolls make a communal New Year's resolution of some? Who knows? Who cares? They're the way they are. Terry Nee says ish, 7 o'clock ish. David Chandler says, are you a failed radio guy? Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask one of the 130 stations that I'm heard on every weekend about that. Or a failed television guy. I don't think so. I don't know. Perhaps you'd like to tell us the last major cable network you were a vice president of. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Let's see here. Kim Warfield, the Wolf, says FDR C. The C is for, well. Oh, Kyle Brancaccio is here from the morning show on Catalano TV 2. You guys are confusing the living bejesus out of me with this 2 shows on 2. You got to kill one of those, man. You just got to say, look, we're done. We're done doing that. You killed. Because I go to the one and nobody's monitoring, and I go to the other and it's just very confusing. I'm sure you'll get it ironed out in no time. But Kyle's here. They got a great show, and they do it every morning. It's on early in the morning. So that's good. It's on in the morning time, like people enjoy. And let's see here. What do I got going on this other channel? Oh, for God's sakes. Let me see here. I think I may have identified another person who, God love them. They just don't realize they don't want to be here. And I feel like I'm somewhat honor bound to help them because they don't realize they don't want to be here. And so when that happens, I try to rescue them from themselves. And, I try to help them out with that. And so, I do what I can. I do what I can to help. Let's see here. Johnny says, that clock is gully-rific. Well, let's just put it back up there. Terry Nee bought it. I was hoping there'd be a picture of Terry. Or Terry, take a picture of it when you get it placed on the wall. Give us a room shot. David Shamless. Yeah, I don't think that's David Chandler. I really don't. The Wolf says he sleeps with the fishes. Yes, with Luca Brazzi. Kyle says, hi, David, Terry, and Kahuna. Stacy Allen says, hooker. She's a hooker. Yes, she was a hooker. She was a lady of the evening. Emphasis on evening. Not as much emphasis on lady. Terry Nee says, a senator. Ramel says, an escort. I think escort is too nice of a word for what this lady was. She was a high-end, and was connected to a high-end ring. So Terry Nee is saying hello to Kai. The Fishman says, scandalous. Simply scandalous. The Reverend says, Crater had paid crooked Tammany Hall for his seat on the bench. When they demanded more money, Crater refused and was eliminated. That's one of the stories about the political corruption. There's also the notion that he had the goods, so to speak, on Tammany Hall. And he was asking for more money. And they didn't want to pay it. And then there's also a school of thought that just says they weren't comfortable with a guy that knew as much about where the bodies were buried, so to speak, being in a position of power like that. So there's a bunch of theories about what happened to him. But Reverend Wild Bill says, went to a different country. That's another deal, is that some people say that he was financially well off enough that he just went somewhere and started a new life completely. Hard to say. Ronnie Munn says, what's up, Tom? Not much, Ronnie. How you doing? Kyle says, and they never found the body. They never, ever did. This is a subject of fascination for the wolf. I bet Jerry Glanville's brother had breakfast with him before he disappeared. That's Jimmy Hoffa. We're going to do a Jimmy Hoffa story. And then I'll get to tell about the fact that I actually ate at the Macus Red Fox before they got rid of it. Goat says, failed TV guys are real burnouts. Or the real burnouts, I guess. Stacey Ann said, what network did you work for? I worked in cable TV for 10 years. It was a little network called the Cartoon Network. Perhaps you've heard of it. Man, I'm looking at something right now that I could... hold on. Since Stacey... This just happened to be in eyesight, or I wouldn't have done this. However, here's a box of my business cards from Cartoon Network. Whoops. Hold on. Let me get rid of this thing here. There you go. Kind of cool, because when you got your business cards came in 4 different designs because they sheet printed them up. So there I am, editorial director of the Cartoon Network. Okay, let's see. Stella. Hello, Stella. How you doing, Stella? Hey, Stella, guess what? There was a lot of trouble in paradise last evening, but it was a good thing because we got through a bunch of stuff. So now things are fine again, as far as I'm concerned. It's Kai, not Kyle. I said Kai. Kai Brancaccio says, hey, Ronnie. Suk says, I just can't fathom how anyone could be happy to be here. Me neither. Trainee says, clock is above my workbench. I'll be sending photos with it around the area. Cool. The wolf said, you stood where he fell. Yeah, the wolf went to Dodge City. Was it Tombstone? It went where the OK Corral was, and they have a sign there that says, I stood where they fell. Let's see here. Reverend Wild Bill says, Tom worked for Uncle Ted. I did work for Uncle Ted. Stacy said, what happened? Oh, man. I don't want to talk about that. There's a personal tragedy in my life happened that was not fun. That I don't like to talk about, but especially this time of year. It happened in December. Somebody very close to me was, it's a long story. Paused Up Patriot says, I'm late. I'm sorry. That's okay, Paz. All right, let's see here. Stacy says, nice. I worked for Fuse. Well, there you go. There you go, then. I don't know what Stacy Allen does now. I think she just she does a lot of Photoshop work for the Shuli Network. She does a lot of wrangling of people. Bob Bill says, forget about it. I usually do. I usually do some damn nice business cards, though. I'm telling you. Let me see if I can. Man, did they give me a lot of it. And these cards are these are old cards, man. These cards are many centuries old, and they still hold their color, and they're thick. They were really well. I mean, Cartoon Network didn't do well. None of the Turner places did anything. They didn't skimp on anything, you know. But these babies, I mean, they're super thick, well printed, you know, things there. And of course, you know, you do things in your career, and then, you know, you get on the internet years later, and technologies change and all that good stuff. But and then you get to interact with people that couldn't get hired to sweep the bathroom at Turner Entertainment, coming onto your show and wanting to be the subject of attention. It's kind of funny. Stacy said, I'm in product development now. Product development. Well, all right. Terry Nee says, Stacy is gold. She is pretty awesome. She was down here in Texas, and North Texas and Thackerville. I think she went to Thackerville. I'm not sure. This past summer. Stacy says, oh my God. Thank you, Terry. Oh my God. Kyle Brancaccio said, I did say Kyle, didn't I? The card had Barney Rubble's wife on it. Wilma too, right? Well, the one has Betty Rubble on it, but Wilma's not on. I've got Wally Gator and Pixie from Pixie and Dixie, and then I've got Disco Diggs says, hey, Tom. And then I've got Dino and who is that particular? I think it's Dino Mutt and Boo Boo from Yogi Bear. And then, what's it? My son. Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy. So this is Doggy Daddy. And this is Penelope Pitstop from the Wacky Racers. Betty was the hotter one. Tom rules, the rest drools. Well, sometimes. Kyle Brancaccio says, if you like cartoon ladies, that is. Well, if I was picking cartoon ladies, I don't know that either one of those would have made the list, but who's the chick on the Herculoids? Anyway, any old way. And then there's always Daphne and or Velma. But they have their own websites dedicated to them now. Oh, dear. What do we got? We got about 9 minutes left. It seems like all the trolls have gone, the trolls have gone. And the sky is gray, and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. All right. Rip Wild Bill says, Jessica Rabbit is my choice. Looney Tunes Critic says, I've interviewed the animator who drew Jessica Rabbit via JJ. Oh, Jessica Rabbit's a JJ, by the way. It's a real thing. Wow. Vayaya is what we say here on the show. As a matter of fact, we used to have a thing. By the way, Sonic Asylum Radio, we are so glad to be back on Sonic Asylum Radio. And I know that one of the key players at Sonic Asylum Radio used to love it when we would go, and of course, her Vayaya. Anyway. Velma is retired in Vermont with her wife. She makes pottery. Stacey Allen says, guess you don't have to leave for Phil's show anymore. Yeah, I do. Why? Is there something going on with that? I usually do. Is he not doing a thing anymore? Am I not hip to what's going on? Reverend Bob Bill says, great show as always. Peace. Well, thank you. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for dinner. Looney Tune Critic says, there is no more Phil. What the heck happened here? Why am I always the last to know? What's the deal? Phil's still alive and stuff, right? Oh, Phil took a break. Well, man, I thought he quit the Dabbleverse. Phil, Sheena Jackson, and Sato have all left the Dabbleverse. What's going on? Well, Pasta sounds like he's dead. Phil is taking a break. Sorry to hear that. Well, I'm sorry to hear he's taking a break. Oh, trolls. Well, let me tell you something. They can do it. They can do it. I mean, as well as I know Phil, and Phil and I are somewhat similar, I think, in terms of some things. Even me saying this, but I've said it on other programs, so I guess. But the trolls love it when you tell them things like this. It's not the bothering you. Like, you can't bother me. Okay. It's the, like, for instance, I just showed the Cartoon Network stuff. It's calling up Cartoon Network and bothering people there, even though I worked there 25 years ago. It's the extraneous stuff that people are on the phone going, what? I don't know who you are. What are you talking about? That is the kind of stuff that's, yeah. Huh. Sounds like there's a doings afoot. That's funny, Sook. My grandfather used to always say, whenever we'd have a family gathering or something, he would see me. I'd go over to his house to help him out or something, and he'd go, "Are you going to the doings? Are you going to be at the doings?" The Looney Tunes Critic says, Sato saw Sheena's tweets about leaving because of trolling, and this is what she told me. Realized it's not fun and games anymore. Phil said the same thing. Well, there you go. Beware of the lawyer, says Lyndon. Well, that guy's just... all these trolls don't realize they are contributing to an atmosphere, an environment. And well, I didn't do that. Yeah, you just emboldened other people to do it. If you're not doing something constructive and you don't have a legitimate criticism with an actual binding outcome, in other words, if it's just, I don't like that, then just go away. Go crawl back under your rock, or better still, find something you're good at and do it. How much are you making from being a troll? Please tell me. I'd love to know. I know the answer. It's nothing. If the spurious, instantaneous, admiration of a fellow loser is all you're getting paid, good luck to you. Terry Nee says, we're from before PC, Tom. It's tough on non-boomers. Yeah. The Wolf says, Tombstone, Arizona. Let's see here. Looney Tunes Critics. I remember when the Brack Show was still on the air, I called TBS during my lunch break and tried to get on the phone with Andy Merrill. It worked. And then I realized I had nothing to say to him. Hey, I can tell you this. Anybody that wanted to get a hold of me when I was at the CN, it'd be pretty easy. And anybody there, really. Now, you might get their voicemail because they're in a bunch of meetings or stuff, but there weren't any ivory towers there. Well, maybe the president of the network and certain people like that, but a lot of the folks, the weird part was that there were two weird things, one of which was the people that were actually creating the programs for the Cartoon Network did not work at Cartoon Network. They worked it for Hanna-Barbera or Cartoon. They weren't in our building. And the other thing is we would get invited to go speak to schools and to various organizations and things like that. And the Looney Tunes critic knows this already. There's some really, really devoted people in the world of animation that are fans. And that's great. But sometimes, like there was this one guy, they really set me up. My first panel that I went to be on, they're like, after it ended, we were chatting with a bunch of people, and this guy starts walking over, and my boss went, "Hey, Tom, why don't you handle this? Why don't you take that guy?" I didn't get to talk to another person for the next 45 minutes. I mean, it was interesting. But I'm going to double check here and make sure there is no Phil show today, because I would hate to be going over here and having Phil do a show. Did he make an announcement or something earlier today? Or I didn't hear anything about it on the Shuley show. Uncle Rico, excuse me. I didn't hear not a thing. Okay, so there's a Nobody Likes Onions show that's going to be on. Okay, Surviving the News. Let's see here. I was hoping it would be a... Okay, so live. Excuse me. That's really unfortunate because, all throughout the weekend and the holidays, Phil had shows... Excuse me. One of the things I admire about Phil is he has those really awesome thumbnails, which I, of course, don't. And he had his shows planned out. It was scheduled in advance. And so, I'd be interested in hearing his take on it. But, I respect Phil enough that whatever he decides, I'm confident is what works for him. And, pretty soon, these trolls like the ones visited here today, keep making it a pain in the ass. And pretty soon, the people that make the content will just make it impossible for you to get to. If we all tomorrow decided to ban those guys from all of our shows, they could keep creating sock accounts, but we'd figure it out. And pretty soon, you can fill in the blanks yourself. The Wolf says, here's lads Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44. No less, no more. That's my favorite one on the fake Boot Hill. The Looney Tunes critic said he personally DM'd me to tell me he was done. He said he's stepping away. Wolf, that is a good one. Looney Tunes critic says, as you may recall, me and him had a video I was working on, and it was postponed. Because of that, he DM'd me to let me know he was taking a break for a while, maybe permanently. Rev, I actually have a T-shirt that says that. Looney Tunes critic, I've seen Phil also recently start pivoting away to more news-related content and sort of covering the internet in general and less of the Dabbleverse. I thought that was a pretty smart move. I think the Dabbleverse at some point can be a part of that mixture, but man, every single day it gets tough. For one person, for 4 talented comedians, it's easy. But it's part of being here. Filter for the gold. Many great people worth staying. Yeah. My fear is Phil start doing a show like mine. I don't need that. Reverend Wild Bill says, I have a T-shirt with Dead Man's card hand on it. Yeah, 8s and aces. 8s and aces. Stacey Owens of the Dabbleverse is not for the weak, that's for sure. I'm only tangentially, Dabbleverse related. I mean, I do this show, and I knew the show that I used to do where I would get up every day and try to find the 3 weirdest news stories. There's not 3 really great weird news stories every day. But if I can take one event every day and go back into history and like something like Judge Crater that nobody knows about, and make it interesting. What's coming up here? I've got Glenn Miller. I've got the Russian sub that exploded underground. Just did Judge Crater. I got Jim Bailey. When I show you the Jim Bailey footage of this stuntman who hooked himself to the bottom of a plane and the plane was going to drag him when it landed, and so he had all this heavy stuff on him, and let's just say once he got in the air, the thing that was holding him to the plane malfunctioned. I'll be showing you a video of that. The beer chocolate flood, the beer flood, and the whiskey flood, all of which killed people. I'll be covering the Leonard Skinner plane crash. And by the way, I will have the actual account of their tour manager who survived the plane crash and that I interviewed on my podcast. And a bunch of other stuff. And you guys have given me some really good topics too. If I can just go over one of those and tell the story really quickly in 20 or 30 minutes, I think that's kind of fun sometimes. I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's see here. Looney Tunes Critter says, Stacey Allen, glad to see you here. It's great to see Stacey Allen anywhere. Terry Nee says, dabble adjacent. Yes, I am dabble adjacent. That's funny. The Wolf says, Buster Shrugs. Not to be confused with Schaefer Suggs, All-American at Ball State University. The Wolf with the thumbs up. What's this? Man, that's the thing about it. It just keeps popping up. It just keeps popping things up. I hate that. No, let me scroll down. You don't have to pop them up, you dumb thing. Wolf, it goes with the name. Let's see here. Looney Tunes. Tom, did you know Clay Croker? Name sounds familiar, but I don't, not placing a face to it. InfoWars is that plane crash is wild. It really is. It really is. InfoWars says, this was great. Never knew any of this. Stacy returning a compliment. The Wolf says, no, the Rev is wild. Kyle Brancaccio. Kai, not Kyle. Kai Brancaccio. Leonard Skinner, gym teacher. He was. Positive Page says, you interviewed Leonard Skinner. No, I interviewed Ron Eckerman, who was their tour manager. He actually signed the requisition for the plane that ended up crashing. And he was on board the plane when it did crash. He survived the plane crash. He was in a coma for months, but he survived it. And the story he tells, I will play that audio when we cover that. It probably will be sometime later in this week. I have a bunch of plane crashes here. Glenn Miller, which Glenn Miller wasn't a plane crash. It was actually shot down by the Nazis. JFK Jr. I might do a show on Bud Dwyer. Other things. The Dublin whiskey fire. The London beer flood. Some of these food floods killed lots of people. Lots of people. Paz says, holy moly. Clay Croker worked at CN here in Atlanta for a long time as an animator. Most famously, he voiced Zorak and Moltar on Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Great dude, passed away a few years ago suddenly. It seems like I should know him. It really does. The Artemis Pyle story was crazy. That Leonard Skinner group in general was crazy. There's some really crazy stuff that happened with that whole group. Terry Nee says, say Bud on TV Live. Bud on TV Live? Saw Bud on TV Live. Let's see here. Lennon says, look forward to your stories. Stories. We've got stories. We'll be telling stories. So, it's interesting. The trolls that called in, I was thinking about just not having the phone number anymore because nobody was calling in. And now, well, I'm going to keep it forever. Ha, ha, ha. Worked against you, trolls. Kyle Brancaccio says, if I'm a go, give me a cannoli flood. There you go. or Shriadel. I can't pronounce it. The Wolf says, I bet he described the crash being similar to the car ride in National Board Killers. He describes many things about what happened. One of the things he describes is them hitting a bunch of stuff and the plane cracking open at the top and him being able to see the clear blue sky out there. It's wild. The Wolf says, I'm partial to pizza floods. Why did you say that? I was just going to have like some mac and cheese with like some really good Italian sausage that I bought in it and a bunch of parm. But you just said pizza, and now I want to make one of those Chicago styles that I got hanging around here. Well, daggone it. On the one hand, you know, I'm obviously I'm going to support Phil in whatever he sees fit. I would say, hey, don't take too long. You know, because I know Phil has had a bad cold. He's getting over a bad cold, and I know sometimes when that happens, you know, your energy level goes down, and you just don't want any hassle at all. You don't want to have to deal with anything. But sometimes a break is good. Sometimes a break is good. So that's very you know, it's like I can't do anything anybody would ever watch, so I'm going to do my best to ruin it for someone else. Do you think people like myself or whomever else, they do this because we hate it? No, a certain part of it is we enjoy it. You know? And so all you're really doing is, Strudel. Yeah. Terry says, pizza on my mind, and I'm longing to be low down. Anyway. Sorry, that was Harlem on my mind. I just switched the word pizza out. I feel shame. The Wolf says, are these from the Tyler Rose? Yes. Yes. The delicious sausages that I will have are from the Tyler Rose. I think it's awesome that only the Wolf and I know what that refers to. Infowars says, I looked up those Geno's East pizzas. They look good. I'm going to Kentucky this week. I may grab a couple. They cost like $100 to ship a 3-pack. You can get them at the grocery store. Try to find them at a grocery store in your area because they're only like $8.99 or $9.99 if you get them that way. Don't pay $100 to ship a 3-pack. Now, I went to my Tom Thumb just late last week, or maybe it was early this weekend. I don't think it was Sunday. Anyway, buy 2, get 2 free. Huh? So those babies only ended up costing me, because I have a frequent shopper card, so it was like $8.99, so it's $9, $4.50 a pop. $4.50 a pop. And by the way, they have pepperoni and sausage, and then they have cheese, pure cheese. They're all good. They're all good. The Wolf says, sounds like the pricing of Zupartis. Not familiar with that, but I saw those $100 to get them shipped. The thing is, they're frozen, so that's part of why you're paying so much money. But I wouldn't pay that. I'd try to find a grocery. And by the way, if you go to your grocery store and say, I want these, and I will buy them from you, they might get a case and just have a case sent in. And then you just buy them at the regular price, or maybe they mark them up a little more than normal, but $100, forget it. Lennon hopes Phil returns soon. He's a good-hearted man. He's a good-hearted woman in love with a good-hearted man. Infowars says, y'all want to try and find them at a store. I'm on the East Coast now. I don't know if they sell them in stores around here, but I'm going to check anyway. You might even call the place up or email them, Geno's, and say, where are you at here? But Tom Thumbs, hey, he needed the money. Tom Thumb is part of the Albertsons community, which I would normally not go to. I can't, the Tom Thumb, I've been going to here in Dallas for 25 years, and they're awesome everywhere but the store closest to me right now. And I would have long ago quit going to that store, except for they're the only place with the pizzas. So I do go there for something. Tyler Schellenberger says, Geno's also has a meat pizza. I get them all the time. They're delicious and one of the best frozen pizzas you can buy. Yeah, they also have a thin crust. They have different kinds. I just like the Chicago style. Oh, they're Chicago style. Let's see, Billy Piper. Oh, yeah, Billy. You got to have the Billy Piper. Let's see, the Wolf says, New Hampshire pizza. Supposed to be the first pizza in this country. I was thinking about maybe starting to do some shows about products. I had a long discussion with some dudes at the Big Fancy Radio Company this weekend, and we were talking about the evolution of, we were talking about the beer can, but it easily could have been the soda can. So, like, I have my store brand, I got to go to the grocery tomorrow, it's my last one, my store brand soda here with this kind of top on it. Some of you in the room, because I know how old you are, and I know the Wolf is one of these people, will recall the days when a can of beer or a can of soda came like an oil can. You had to take and punch both sides of it. It was completely closed. There was no tab on it. You took one of those things that, like a bottle opener you see sometimes that only has that pointed thing on the top, and you'd have to pop it to get a thing to drink out of, and then pop it for an air hole on the other side. Then they had the pull tabs like this, only the whole tab came off. And then some genius realized, why don't we leave it attached, because it's less technically trash or whatever. Let's see. Reverend Bill says, I'll stay with deep dish. I know people get upset about deep dish. East Coast people. Pull tabs, yeah. Church key. Oh, yeah, that's what he used to call them. I made soda top chains. Yeah, the old kind of pull tabs that didn't stay on the can. People would make hats with yarn and do all sorts of stuff. High C cans. Yes. Kai Brancaccio, definitely. The Wolf says, I can give you some info from my beer history brewing books. But there's all sorts of products that you could, frozen pizza. Frozen pizza's coming a long way. The old frozen pizzas were really pretty crappy. And now you go to the grocery store, not only do you have your choice, there's 25 brands there. Some of them, really good. The crust on frozen pizza just used to be awful. It was terrible. It was just the worst. And even the cheese and the meat and everything else, it's almost like they said, hey, if these people don't want to go out or send out for pizza, they'll eat anything. They'll eat dog food on a piece of bread. But the DiGiorno's and all that, and there's even more upscale than that. So, but those Geno's East, Chicago style, ooh, they're good. Reverend Wild Bill says, or the beloved P38 opener. Yes. Yes. But me and two other old guys, the Big Fancy Radio Company, when I was in between, I had already done my news feed. Yeah, it must have been the noon hour. I did my news feed during the 11 o'clock hour, so I had the noon hour where I had already written the newscast, and so I had plenty of time in between, and I wanted to go kill some time. And That's a rough shift, 5 a.m. till 1 p.m. because they got some snacks up there, but by the time that's over, I am starving. Luckily, there is a company McDonald's store, not a franchise, a company McDonald's right at the bottom. And I make a beeline for that thing and just wolf. The Wolf, speaking of which, says, I watched that long program on the frozen food companies. Yeah, it's come a long way. Well, jeepers, I've gone way over. I wish I couldn't or didn't. I wish Phil was still doing his thing. But there's the world the way we'd like it and the world the way it is. And hopefully he'll be right back at it soon. I don't know if he's doing his morning show. But when you see the links that people go to, you got a choice, man. You either upset your own life, because it's a lot of work to track these people down, to get the various police or attorneys or whomever involved. I've done it. There was a guy that was absolutely sure nothing could ever happen to him. Ha, 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 nothing. Well, look, it took way more time and way more effort. And, it was awful. But at the end of that rainbow, the police, a prosecutor, and a judge all said, that's harassment. And he was charged with it. So, there you are. But, would I do it again? Man, I really wouldn't want to. And that's what they're counting on. Other thing is, you can't get any damages from them because they're losers. They don't have anything. If they did, they wouldn't be doing that nonsense. But you're not going to financial damages. They're judgment proof. They got nothing. Let's see here. The Wolf says, I also watched one on popcorn. There you go. Yeah, stuff like that. Things like that. Yeah. Kyle Brancaccio says, I like your show, Tom. Thanks for the entertainment, brother. Can't wait for the great blues, too. Oh, well, it's coming. Tyler Schellenberger says, I remember when you did that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joseph R. says, toaster pizzas were awesome. Kim Warfield, the Wolf, says, I would have just paid them a visit. Yeah, boy, if we only lived in those times, right? But even that would have meant that I had to drive to Virginia, where this guy lived, and he lived in his car and trolled you from Starbucks. It's... And then your other alternative, which I also did one time, is, hey, you want to make me miserable and spread a bunch of lies about me, I'll just document everything you're doing and spread the truth about you. Boy, they don't like that. Tim Jenkins says, hello, Tom. Did you see the plane that set on fire in Japan? I did see that. I did. I also saw the dumpster fire that was Arsenal versus Fulham. And now we got Liverpool. When are they going? I'm telling you, fire Mikel Arteta today. You still have a chance to win the EPL. Fire him today. Every time they have a chance to make a statement, 11 living heart donors show up. And anyway, sorry. End of that. Hey, you know what? I think it's about time to get out of here. And I really do. But I do appreciate everybody showing up. Thanks for supporting the program. TomGullyShow.com. Tons of old podcasts and things there. There's also the merchandise store at cafepress.com/The Tom Gully Show. A couple people have been nice enough to buy some stuff. And then there's PayPal, which is paypal.me/Tom Gully Show or patreon.com/Tom Gully Show if you want to do those things. If you don't, that's fine too. I guess the only thing left to say at this juncture is till next time, we'll see you next time.
I don't want to talk about that, 'cause I got the love of a beautiful woman. Yes, nothing's gonna take her place. She make me feel just like a natural born winner when I'm not even in the race. That's why they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Never had a whole lot of money. I was never good at games and chance. When I'm playing cards with my buddies, well, the money flies right out of my pants.